Right now on ABC 3340, get your mask ready. It's a requirement in one local city. Tonight, what is and is not allowed and the penalty for disobeying.
And the governor's orders have been outlined. Tonight, why some call it a big letdown. We look at what's open, what's not, and why some feel left out. What do you think?
The photo that got our attention tonight, the story behind the Alabama baby lifted high for the parking lot to see. It's one of the many stories you'll be talking about.
ABC 3340 News starts now with the Weather Authority.
And first tonight, a line of storms is on the way to the state as we speak, bringing the potential for severe weather. The Weather Authority always working for you with everything you need to know to keep your family safe. I'm Christopher Sine.
And I'm Brenda LeDunn. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist James Spann.
Yeah, we have an active weather day coming up tomorrow with a line of thunderstorms developing off to the west. This is the Storm Prediction Center outlook. We have the standard slight risk, level 2 out of 5 for much of the state. The area is there in yellow. Now, we'll see some storms in the morning. We think the main severe weather threat comes tomorrow afternoon between noon and 6 o'clock. The main threat, strong winds. We could see a few storms with small hail. The chance of a tornado is low, not zero, but low with this event. Here's the current radar, and you can see a few light showers clipping the northwestern corner of the state. But this is the big story. Severe storms lined up now from north and west of Dallas-Fort Worth up into southeast Oklahoma and parts of central Arkansas. These storms producing strong, damaging straight-line winds in many spots. In fact, the line runs all the way up to near Grand Rapids, Michigan. The good news, this batch of storms will weaken as it moves in here tomorrow morning. Still, there could be a few storms with gusty winds, but the main threat will come tomorrow afternoon as the air becomes unstable again. We're expecting rain amounts about 1/2 to 1 inch, and the storm should be gone by 6 or 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. More about the active day tomorrow and the 10-day forecast, all coming up in minutes, so stay with us.
The Weather Authority is always working to keep you informed. Visit abc3340.com for the newest forecasts and the interactive radar. The free ABC 3340 weather app will also give you instant access on the go and alerts sent right to the palm of your hand.
Like everyone else, I look forward to easing back into our routines with caution.
Right now at 10, new reaction to Governor Kay Ivey's plan to begin to reopen parts of Alabama's economy. But not everything many hoped would be part of that first phase is there. Starting at 5 p.m. on Thursday, some businesses will be allowed to reopen. Here's a rundown of what the first phase involves. All retail stores will be allowed to reopen, but will be required to maintain at most a 50% occupancy rate. Schools will stay closed to in-person instruction. Restaurants will stay limited to takeout or curbside delivery. Theaters, gyms, and hair salons will stay closed. This new order is set to expire on May 15th.
From Montgomery, let's now go to Tuscaloosa tonight. Mayor Walt Maddox says his city will begin to reopen in phases. Phase 1 will start Friday, May 1st. Current businesses will stay open while general retail and commercial services will be added in. Still, the businesses must operate at 50% capacity. And effective this Friday, May 1st, the city of Birmingham is requiring everyone from toddlers to adults wear masks when in public. The City Council unanimously approved the ordinance today. ABC 3340's Ashley Gooden explains what it entails and how it could impact you.
If the reopening of a few more businesses means you're going to be out and about, make sure if you're in Birmingham, you are wearing a mask.
If you can't be 6 feet apart, then the next best thing is to make sure that if we know how this spreads through saliva, through a possible sneeze, cough, talking, etc., then the face cover is to make sure none of us are spreading.
It doesn't have to be medical grade, just something, even a household item to cover your face. Otherwise, you're looking at a fine of up to $500 or up to 30 days in jail. Ace Graham, who owns Alchemy in 5 Points South, says his fear is for and of the people who don't have access to masks.
I don't see people wearing masks every day, so it's concerning to think about how a person is going to protect themselves and protect us with a mask in the community that they already don't have.
Since the pandemic started, his store has been selling masks, and with the decision of whether to reopen his store on the table, a new concern has presented itself. He'll have to ensure his employees and customers observe the requirement.
Helping people get masks to protect themselves and to protect us has always been at the top of our agenda, but it's just a tough thing to do when you have people that want to come in that don't have a mask.
First social distancing and now face masks. The new normal continues to change.
It's a great thing for our staff to come back and start working and servicing people, but at the same time, it's extremely alarming that we were in a different situation a week ago.
In Birmingham, Ashley Gooden, ABC 3340 News.
I want to let you know we did reach out to several other city governments to see if they have plans for a mask ordinance. Some say no, others say it's not off the table when considering people's safety.
In Jasper and Walker County, like communities all across the state, business owners are reacting to the governor's plan. The news from Montgomery is welcome for stores like Bernard's. The 71-year-old store has been delivering clothing and offering curbside pickup since March 23rd. From stores to restaurants, the COVID-19 pandemic is still a challenge for many restaurants to navigate. Soho Social in Homewood says it's ready to serve customers in their dining rooms, outdoor patios safely. Now, owners say even with small business loans, time is running out for them to survive.
The staffing level is okay and we're able to pay people, but we just don't have a whole lot to do.
And that money doesn't last forever.
No.
Other restaurants across town, like the Courtyard at Tostadas, says community support has been huge. Restaurants say sanitation and hygiene are already a part of their normal process.
And the new updates at 10 o'clock on COVID-19 cases in the state of Alabama, according to real-time data from the Alabama Department of Public Health. Nearly 76,000 people have been tested. Of those, nearly around 6,750. That's the new number coming in right now. 6,750 people have been confirmed to have the virus. This includes more than 900 healthcare workers. There are 242 confirmed deaths. Since mid-March, 927 people have been hospitalized. New at 10, President Trump says the worst days of the pandemic are behind us. Though there's still a long way to go, the president is also considering demands that international passengers headed for the U.S. be tested for the virus.
We're also setting up a system where we do some testing, and we're working with the airlines on that. Testing on the plane, getting on the planes.
Well, next week, Congress is set to discuss more funding for state and local governments.
ABC 3340 News is committed to bringing you up-to-the-minute detailed and complete coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and all the ways it continues to impact your family and our economy. Find 24/7 updates on abc3340.com and on the free mobile news app. Our app is free for Apple and Android devices. A Hoover Townhome Owners Association is apologizing after forcing a mother to wash off a sidewalk chalk drawing her daughter created. Last week, an 11-year-old in River Chase drew an uplifting message on the sidewalk for her neighbors. That kind gesture took a turn. A few days later, her mom received a letter from the River Chase Townhome Owners Association saying the drawing was a violation of the covenants.
She was ashamed and felt like she had done something she wasn't allowed to do, when really she was just trying to encourage people during a tough time and give them something uplifting.
Today, the president of the Townhome Owners Association said the family won't face a fine. More news stories that will have you talking: how COVID-19 is expected to affect our food supply,
and how you and local farmers could benefit from the shortfall elsewhere. And from beaches to Vegas, plans to reopen and the efforts to keep people safe from the virus at the same time. It's all new.
Thank you for watching ABC 3340 News, the station working for you.
The partial reopening is coming with a mix of excitement and disappointment. Many small business owners felt the sting of the news today as Governor Ivey gave retail business the green light.
New at 10, ABC 3340's Andrew Donnelly shows us how two small business owners are now just trying to readjust.
I think I had so many emotions. from anger to upset to it's just hard to put into words.
Haley Malloy said she had done everything she could think of in preparation for the announcement Tuesday, anticipating her hair salon business would get the green light from Governor Ivey. That includes buying masks, disposable capes, and gloves. She and Scott Campbell, owner of Pell City Fitness, joined me on a conference call after the news broke. Campbell had a similar mindset going into the week.
When President Trump came out with his recommendations a few weeks ago, phase one was supposed to include gyms opening, which made sense because the leading cause of death for COVID-19 is obesity-related illnesses, heart disease, lung disease, things of that nature. And so for us and my team, we went out and spent a whole lot of money getting things back ready to open after a month. Fully anticipated the governor to fall in line with what President Trump had suggested, especially being in Alabama, which is one of the lesser hit states.
Instead, the announcement came opening beaches up, elective surgeries at hospitals and retail across the state, as long as they maintain an occupancy level of 50% of normal operations. Now, with the next decision expected as late as May 15th, Malloy and Campbell are left wondering how much longer they have before their businesses sink. Campbell says right now his members are keeping it afloat.
But how long will that last? How long are members going to pay? How long am I going to pay for something that they're not getting? Now, we've moved a lot of our services online, but it's not the same.
Malloy doesn't have that luxury.
And my phone's been blowing up all day with clients, very upset. I've been having to reschedule them from April 17th, now May 1st, now who knows?
Andrew Donnelly, ABC 3340 News.
Developing right now, the COVID-19 pandemic could have a new impact on your next trip to the grocery store. Several major meat processing plants shut down after workers became sick with COVID-19. Some closures are now leaving farmers with nowhere to send their pigs, chicken, or cattle. That could force millions of animals meant for the kitchen table to be put down. President Trump, by the way, did sign an executive order today to keep processing plants open, labeling them as critical infrastructure.
From our national food supply to local options, more farmers in our area say people are turning to farmers markets for fresh produce during this pandemic. For one farm in Chilton County, one thing that has been missing: carloads of customers, especially those driving to and from Alabama's beaches.
The only thing that we can come close to kind of relating it to would be kind of what the oil spill was a few years ago. I mean, that definitely impacted us. But again, even when that was going on, you still have people moving around and traveling and stuff like that. So this is definitely, 5 times worse than what that was.
Experts say the outlook for farmers markets this summer is very good, with lots of local produce expected. And speaking of looking forward to seeing customers, leaders at Alabama beaches say that they are expecting big crowds to arrive once beaches can reopen Friday evening.
James Gordon from our sister station in Mobile shows us how places like Gulf Shores and Orange Beach are making sure people stay safe at the same time.
City crews have been planning for the reopening, and today some of the finishing touches along the beach were in the works. Police say they will continue patrolling as they have been, only now with a push to continue social distancing and monitoring gatherings of 10 people or less. Police say they will not be out to arrest anyone unless they get pushback.
They'll start with kind of educate them about the current situation through the 15th of May. It still doesn't work, same group. We'll go a step further, I suppose. We're not looking to make it any more difficult than it already is on people.
With beaches open, this means people staying in condos and hotels can enjoy the beach as well as swimming pools. City officials are confident people will be respectful of each other.
The lodging accommodations, the group sizes can't be larger than 10 people in any rented accommodation. So there's graduated reopenings to be able to slowly get things back to whatever normal is.
Beaches are a big part of Alabama's economy, and this week's reopening will be the key to recovery and the start of maybe saving what's left of the summer season.
We will be enforcing the social distancing guidelines by the governor and CDC, and we will be enforcing them very strictly. Whether you like them or not, everybody's got to play by the same rules.
That was James Gordon reporting for us. Police officers in both Orange Beach and Gulf Shores say they are ready for the crowds and social distancing will be enforced.
We have our new first look at New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's 12-step plan to reopen New York and the Big Apple. And you can see right now, well, Times Square is fairly empty. Under his plan, businesses will reopen in phases and will be done by region. Now, construction and manufacturing functions with low risk will be among the first to reopen. Cuomo says businesses must have a plan in place to protect employees and customers. One resort in Las Vegas is also giving us a first look at its reopening plan. The Venetian Resort is installing thermal scanners that will allow for temperature checks for employees and guests. The hotel will also be providing masks for guests to wear. Finally, chips in the casino will be disinfected every 2 hours.
I want you to look at this new video coming into the newsroom tonight of another patient surviving COVID-19. In fact, this patient is the 1,000th person to be released from the Hackensack University Medical Center just outside of New York City. Today's send-off ceremony was particularly special because this latest patient, surprisingly enough, is a doctor. He is now back at home resting with family.
A lot of people are dealing with the stress of the virus, but here's one image that will make you smile. A nurse at Baptist Medical Center East in Montgomery holds up a newborn baby so the grandparents can see the infant from the window. This picture is courtesy of Christy Edwards. The baby's name is Tucker. Tucker's grandmother says she had been waiting all day for her grandson's arrival. Congratulations.
We've enjoyed several days of quiet weather. Now things get active tomorrow across the state as a storm system sweeps in. The severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center shows a level 2 out of level 5 slight risk for much of the state. That's the areas in yellow. We think the main window for severe storms coming tomorrow afternoon. Now we will have rain tomorrow morning, maybe a strong storm, but the better chance of severe storms noon until 6. During that time frame, some storms could produce strong gusty winds, some small hail. The tornado risk is low, but not zero. Anytime we have a system like this in late April, you have to watch them carefully. A few showers scooting through parts of northwest Alabama this evening, but most of the state dry. Chances for rain will be increasing toward daybreak, and you can see what's happening off to the west. That is a nasty line of storms coming through Arkansas, southeast Oklahoma, north Texas. Along that line, we've had damaging straight line winds, couple of tornadoes, but the good news, that will likely weaken as it moves into Alabama tomorrow morning. The line extends as far north as Grand Rapids, Michigan. So here's the deal. We have tonight we have a moderate risk, level 4 out of 5 for parts of Texas and Oklahoma. But again, those storms should weaken as they come in here tomorrow morning. We'll start the day with rain and storms, maybe with gusty winds, but I think the severe weather threat in the morning is fairly low. But later in the day, as the air becomes more unstable in advance of that front, they will intensify again. And again, the storms tomorrow afternoon could produce hail, strong winds, and just an outside brief chance of a tornado. By tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, the bulk of the storms over in Georgia, and after that, we'll see drier air coming in here on Thursday. We could see some wraparound clouds during the day Thursday. We'll call it partly sunny, but again, we expect no rain, and a really nice day on Friday. Nothing but sunshine. We start the day in the 40s. The high will be in the 70s, and over the weekend, the warmest weather so far this year. Let me talk you through the 10-day forecast. Tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms, and again, storms could be strong to severe. The better chance of those tomorrow afternoon, the high 73. Partially sunny on Thursday, the high close to 70. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sunny all 3 days with a warming trend. The high Friday 75, Saturday's high low 80s. How about mid 80s on Sunday? Next week, maybe a few showers Monday. We're not expecting a heavy rain event, and then back to warm, dry weather Tuesday. Catch my forecast tomorrow morning with the Rick and Bubba Show on Birmingham's 104.7 WZZK. Some amazing modest clouds in Oklahoma tonight. You'll see images coming up before the newscast is over.
All right, James, we'll see you in a few minutes. Next at 10, explaining what it's like to give birth during a pandemic. Meet the mother who did just that. You're going to hear the key thing that was very different about this birth. Giving birth is certainly a big event anytime, but add in the COVID-19 pandemic
and it's taking on a new meaning for many mothers. For one mom in upstate New York, she's now sharing her experience giving birth during the pandemic. Ashley Hurd already had 3 boys. She gave birth to her 4th child April 1st, and she says this birth was different from her other 3.
I was terrified about going to a hospital and bringing this tiny little human into the world, possibly getting sick, and then bringing it home on top of that.
A lot to worry about. Hurd says her husband was allowed to be in the room with her, but could not leave the hospital for 3 days to check on their 3 other sons. His temperature was also taken every 12 hours. Still, Mom and Dad say they're grateful to have a healthy baby and a very beautiful family.
The end result, everything is great.
Yes,
you know?
It's a happy ending for them. Well, determined to let graduation go on despite concerns over COVID-19.
Coming up, see how one high school's unique plan, how this is working out, and it's by appointment only.
New at 10, a high school in Illinois has figured out a way to give their seniors a graduation ceremony.
But this is going to be very different. Students at BBCHS South of Chicago will be able to make an appointment to graduate. They will reserve a time for a photo in their cap and gown, then will be recorded as they walk across the stage. The auditorium, of course, will be nearly empty. Still, though, students say they are excited just to be able to graduate and walk the stage.
It's definitely going to be something to tell my kids, and my kids' kids is going to be great.
Well, the school will require students and staff to wear masks and stand 6 feet apart. While this by-appointment graduation service is optional, the school says the majority of seniors have already signed up and will be participating.
And some middle school students in Hawaii are proving their resilience during the COVID-19 pandemic.
The 7th and 8th graders have continued to produce a morning newscast despite being stuck at home. Jim Mendoza reports.
Aloha and welcome to the CKTV News Quarantine Edition for this Aloha Friday.
Chiefus Kamakahele Middle School on Kauai is still producing morning newscasts done by students, even though the teenagers are all off campus. Because of distance learning, the 7th and 8th graders have to put their shows together from their homes.
We're at home, we don't have our same equipment as we used before. That's different, and all the students are having to put in that much more effort to get things done.
The newscasts are called quarantine editions, and they come out of the school's advanced media class.
Our students were very used to seeing the show every morning, and so we wanted to try to keep some of that up. And so we're doing it 3 times a week. We're not able to do it every single day.
The shows include coronavirus news, teacher messages, and important announcements.
Even though we're still at home, there might be some questions that students may have, and we could answer that with the announcements. And that's a way to connect with our students.
The middle schoolers are swapping stories with teens at schools in Florida and Massachusetts who are doing the same thing.
These are kids that, want to, tell stories and be active and use technology. And so I think for them, it was a good way to keep them busy.
And they are getting busier.
We recently started a podcast, which is really cool.
If you want to check it out, Chiefus Kamakahele Middle School's morning news can be viewed on the school's CKTV Facebook page and Instagram site.
That was Jim Mendoza reporting. How cool is that? Just current events, staying active, involved with school. Fascinating.
They're learning something a lot of people working from home are learning too. It's harder sometimes when you're working at home to get all the equipment to work. I can attest to that.
And of course, James Spann is working from home, but he has all the equipment fired up. He's going to give us a final check on the forecast next.
Time for a final check on the forecast with James Spann. James?
I showed you those big thunderstorms in Oklahoma. In Tulsa, after the storms departed, a remarkable display of mammatus clouds, those pouches that hang from the ceiling of the sky. Really remarkable tonight as the sun was going down. Some of the shots absolutely gorgeous. And again, all of these were taken around earlier tonight. Wanted to mention one thing here. This is the anniversary of a major tornado outbreak back in 2014 on this date, April 28th. Had a big tornado that went through Kimberly. This was the Kimberly Church of God. This was the fire station adjacent to the church. We had a tornado in Bessemer. This was damage at an apartment apartment complex there. And also a tornado came through parts of Adamsville and Graysville that night. A reminder, this is the middle of the tornado season, and tomorrow, some active storms, the better chance of severe storms tomorrow afternoon. But after that, nice and quiet, and the warmest weekend so far this year. Get ready for the 80s in here on Saturday and Sunday. A nice summer preview.
All right, can't wait. Thank you, James, and that's all the time we have for now. Jimmy Kimmel is up next.
Leave you with the heart from the Sheraton there. We love our hotel workers as well.